How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about one of the most powerful day trading patterns. It's one that I try to incorporate into my trading. There are two that I like, the opening range break and the flag pattern. I think both of them are fantastic. Today, I'm going to be focusing on the opening range break. And then just to talk about real quick what the opening range break is. So it is a pattern where a stock trades sideways for a period of time, and then whether it be to the upside or the downside, a direction is finally chosen, and then it usually has follow through. For example, I'm going to be going over an opening range break on Amazon. And this happened on October 15th. And as you can see, Amazon was trading sideways. So even though just kind of shorter term, there was no real clear direction, the one thing that stands out with the daily chart for me is look at this major level, this 33.25. Numerous times it came up to it, it was resistance, especially on a big name like Amazon. A lot of people are watching it. It really has a chance to catch momentum. If it breaks above that level, I think that it has a chance to really get going because not only are people who like this stock going to be watching it, but also momentum traders, they're going to be looking to trade it as well. So you got a lot of demand coming into the market, which can cause those huge moves. But one thing that I do want to point out is that the trend on this is not super clear. I am a big fan when the trend is a little bit more clear. Like for example, on July 6th, you can see it got a little gap up, nice clear uptrend, and then it eventually breaks that prior high and has a huge move. Whereas here, not as clean, but it still can work well. I think the most important thing when it comes to this strategy, you're going to be executing on a shorter time frame basis, or that's how I do it. I execute on the 2-minute chart, but really it's focusing on what is happening on the daily chart, and consolidation is key. When there are breaks above consolidation and below consolidation, and then you also wait for an opening range break pattern, that's where it can be very powerful. So I'm going to go over the example of Amazon, and I'm going to show a very extreme version of this. This is arguably one of the best opening range break patterns I've ever seen. But on top of this, I'm going to go over two other ones as well. And these are ones that happened on the same day. So I'm going to be going over AMC and then also AA. So now let's go over the technicals of Amazon, just trying to keep it very simple. The big level that's in play is this 33.25. My big picture idea is that if it breaks that, I think it has a chance to catch momentum. Nothing is 100%, but just playing the probability that if it breaks, it could. So now let's take a look at the right on my screen. This is a 30-minute chart. So as you can see, that 33.25, big area of resistance. Resistance can only hold for so long, and eventually when it breaks, those moves can be big. So now that I have the bigger picture idea with the bigger picture technical level above, 33.25, now it's all about breaking it down and waiting for that opening range break pattern to get created on a lower time frame. Okay, so this is Amazon on a 2-minute chart. This is the 15th right here. So this is the open. So just trying to analyze what I see. The first move was lower off the open, and then it just chopped sideways for a long period of time. I see this being a phenomenal setup. The reason why is because consolidation. A good amount of time went by before a side was chosen. And then preferably, since I know that there is a very big technical level above 33.25, the possible really big breakout level, that when Amazon consolidates sideways for a very long period of time, showing a big fight between buyers and sellers, if it chooses the upside, also knowing that there is that big technical level above, I believe that there is the possibility for a very big move. And keep in mind that opening range breaks don't look like this always. Sometimes they happen within the first 5 or 10 minutes of the open. The reason why I'm highlighting this is because this is one of the best that I have ever seen. So now this is how I keep it very simple. All I do is I mark the opening high right there and then the opening low. So that is going to be the range. So very clearly it is consolidating within this range. And then what happens? It eventually takes out the high of this range on this candle. And in a perfect world, what I try to do is anticipate the break of that high just a little bit. So the high of that candle was 33.1277. If I was pretty good, I would try to get long 33.12, maybe just before it, 33.1250. And then as it breaks, I'm a scalper. So typically I take the quick move, but this just shows the power of sometimes these moves can be very big. And then it breaks the opening range after there has been a long period of consolidation, buyers and sellers clearly fighting. They didn't know which way it was going to go. And then finally, the buyers won that battle, also knowing that there is the big technical level above. So once it breaks the high, it eventually works its way up to that technical level. And then being that on the bigger picture time frame, this is a level that a lot of other people are going to be looking at, kind of swing traders, momentum traders. Look at the volume. The volume starts to increase right at that level, and then it takes it out. And this has an absolutely insane move higher. And I want to stress that this is not normal. This is an outlier. This is one of the extreme examples of these opening range breaks. But being that it is so extreme, I really wanted to highlight it. So it breaks that high a day, right around 33.12, and then basically goes straight up and hits a high of 33.9278. An absolutely insane move. And now, once again, I want to stress that I am only a scalper, so there is no way that I would have been able to catch this move. I usually just catch a very small move. If anybody's been watching my videos, you know that I'm in trades for only a few minutes at a time. But even just a quick scalp through the high, there is still a lot of money to be made on this trade. And if you happen to be more patient, not like me, this can make your whole month, who knows, maybe even your whole year if you're really good and you take decent size and you can really hold through it. All right, so obviously knowing that that Amazon opening range break was an extreme version of it, I now want to show some examples of ones that are more normal, ones that are not going to have insane moves like that. This is going to be more common in what I am usually trying to find. Take the quick move, scalp it, and then take quick profits. That's just my style. So we're going to be going over AMC. So here's the AMC daily. Just consolidating. The trend is not very clear. I'm a big fan of when stocks are in a very clear uptrend, and then that's when I try to apply the opening range breaks, but it doesn't mean that it can't happen on something that maybe just caught momentum the last couple days and is hanging sideways. So I'm a big fan of using prior day high, prior day low, pre-market high, and pre-market low as technical levels to trade around. That's just what works best for me. So let's do an example on AMC, knowing that the technical level that was in play today was prior day high. So on the 15th is when this setup happened. The prior day high from the 14th was 41.10, which is going to be that green line. Okay, so now let's break it down on a 2-minute chart of AMC, starting with this candle. This is the open on the 15th. So the first move was down. So in my mind, I'm already thinking, let's mark the high. That is the opening range high. And then it pulls back a bit. It starts to consolidate and call it right at 39.80. That's the opening range low. So a handful of minutes of going sideways, and then very quickly, look at what this next candle does. Big candle, big momentum, and then as it takes out the high, which was 40.47, that is the opening range high. And as you can see, there's still consolidation, but just not as much consolidation as the Amazon chart. So sometimes these opening range breaks happen a little bit quicker. That's just how it goes. Welcome to the stock market. Welcome to trading. Sometimes these patterns happen a lot faster than you want them to. The whole key with all of it is just being focused and ready to execute. So as this takes out that high, 40.47, I'm always trying to anticipate just a little bit. So if I was good, maybe get long 40.35, 40.40, trying to anticipate that break so that way I'm in just before it. And then I'm trying to have it go quick or get out. So I want to see that level break, and then I want to see it continue through that level really fast. If it gets up to that level and then it starts to pull back on me, I usually just get out very quick. And I do my best at doing that, so that way the loss is not very big. It's meant for a scalp, so I want it to have almost immediate follow through, or I already think about just getting out of the trade quick, so that way it doesn't reverse aggressively and then I take a massive loss. So this eventually breaks the high, and then look at that follow through. And remember, AMC is not an expensive stock. It's only a $40 stock. And when it breaks the high, look at this nice move. I mean, it's not very big, but on a $40 stock, that's a decent move. And it comes right into prior day high. It does not break it at that moment. If I was in this scalp and it didn't break it quick and then it pulled back, I would just get out of it. But here is even another opportunity that sets up. So nice big move, and then it pulls back a little bit. This is a flag pattern, and then it follows through a little bit. It takes out that technical level, has a little bit of momentum, but as you can see, it could barely even hold that level, starts to pull back. If I had given this a chance at this 41 area, and then it starts to pull back, I'm just getting out of the way real fast. But the main purpose of this example is just showing this opening range break. So it pulls back off the open, handful of minutes of sideways consolidation, buyers and sellers, big fight, eventually chooses the upside direction, which is the short-term trend on the daily chart. So always factoring in what's going on the daily to then try to find direction on a shorter time frame or a smaller time frame like the 2-minute, which is what I trade off of. And then when it chooses the direction, it has a very nice move. And even though it's not a huge move, there is plenty of money to be made on that when scalping. Okay, and the last example is going to be on ALCOA. So it reported earnings on the 15th, but this is a better example as far as overall trend because it's gone up. Yes, it was going sideways a little bit, but overall, the daily chart is strong. It had the gap up on earnings. So the technical levels that I'm going to be looking at, pre-market high. This is this baby blue line to the right. Pre-market high was 52.32, and then also knowing that this prior pivot resistance high is 52.45. If it can take that out, it has a chance to break out, being that it is strong on the daily chart, and in momentum traders, swing traders, people who want to buy into ALCOA based on a good earnings report, they're going to probably pile in. There's going to be a lot of demand that comes into the market, and maybe it has a chance to catch momentum. Nothing is guaranteed, but just playing the chance that it could happen. Okay, so now that we know those levels, pre-market high and this prior pivot high, those are big technical levels that if it breaks through, it could really get going. So now let's break it down on a 2-minute chart. And the reason why I wanted to highlight this is because this is an example of a very quick opening range break. Sometimes they happen in just the first few minutes. Sometimes 15 minutes goes by, then they finally choose a direction. And sometimes it's more like Amazon, where it's going on 45 minutes, an hour plus, and then it finally chooses a direction. So now let's mark the quick opening range high and the opening range low. So the opening range low is 51 and the upside is 52. And then when it eventually takes out that 52, also knowing that there is technical levels above pre-market high and that prior pivot high, check out the momentum that it catches. It breaks those levels, gets above 52. Had I been good, I try to get in just before the break. So maybe 51.80, 51.90, and then it breaks immediately and then it starts to speed up. Remember, I just take the quick move. So from a scalper's perspective, I'm in and out pretty quick, but having patience with stuff like this can really lead to nice winners because it took out that 52 and then went basically straight up to 54.77. So that is a very nice move, and that is a good example of a quick opening range break. Okay, well, that's pretty much it. I just wanted to highlight not only an opening range break, but there are different types. Every single setup is not the exact same. So there's going to be opening range breaks that are like Amazon, where there's a long period of consolidation. They finally choose a direction. There's going to be ones like AMC where they consolidate for 5 or 10 minutes and then they finally choose a direction. And then there's going to be ones like AA where they only have a couple minutes of consolidation off the open and then they finally choose a direction. But remember that trades that happen this quick off the open, they can be very risky because if they do not follow through, they can pull back very aggressively. So the most important thing when it comes to me when I am trading these is I want them to go quick. I want them to break the level and follow through very fast. If they start to go against me, I usually just get out of the way very quickly. So that's it. That's my description on one of the most powerful patterns when it comes to day trading, and one of my favorites, which is the opening range break. Thanks for watching the video. Feel free to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for sticking around to the end of the video. I just want to highlight a couple really cool things that I have to offer. The first is my newsletter watch list that I'm going to be posting on my private Twitter 30 minutes before the open of each trading day. Here's an example of what that's going to look like. So I'm going to do a quick overview of the market, the SPY, the Qs, the upside levels, the downside levels, and then a sentence or two as to the overall bigger picture. Make sure to highlight any market news or events that are happening that day. And then I'm going to list the 4 to 6 stocks that I'm watching that day. If there's any company specific news, all the upside levels and the downside levels, and then do a quick bigger picture, a couple sentences as to what's going on in the daily chart. This is everything that's in my head prior to market open. This is how I prepare, and a really easy way to get access to my trading process. One page with everything I'm looking at, all the technical levels, and all the news delivered 30 minutes before market open in a really organized fashion. Also, I have a call service, so if you want something that's a little bit less of a commitment, you want to connect with me directly, talk about my trading, my journey along the way, and just connect with another trader, this is really great. And this can be a video call or a regular call, whatever you're comfortable with. It's a one-time fee and it's going to be for 1 hour. So if you're interested in either one of these, I will put the links in the description below.